What's up, Sen Squad? Welcome back to another Brawl Stars video. So there's been a lot of hype recently surrounding the new 8-bit minigame that was silently added in with the maintenance for the last balance changes. So all you have to do to access this is just scroll down to 8-bit's character page in the brawler menu, and then you just tap on him, and then some weird stuff will appear, and then you just tap on him a couple more times until the counter ticks down to 0, and then it will take you to an external website where you can play the minigame. So I want to talk about the best strategies for you to actually get through this entire minigame and figure out the entire story for yourself on your own device. Because even if you've seen videos on just how to get through it, it's still going to be a bit difficult if you're doing it yourself. So I want to give you some tips on how you can make it as easy as possible for you to get through these levels. So the first game is going to be Project Laser. This is where you have to fly your spaceship through a bunch of flying asteroids and attacking ships, and you can actually just spam the fire button over and over again for this. There's no ammo stored up, and you basically can just shoot as fast as possible. So I can tap pretty fast myself, but if you can't tap that fast, you can always just use 2 fingers and alternate between them, and that's going to give you a super fast fire rate, and you can honestly just go up and down the screen and basically instantly shred anything that comes onto the screen. Although once you get farther into the level, I think it's best to just not shoot and just try to dodge everything, because all the attacking ships will eventually go past you. So you basically just want to kill one if it's directly in front of you, and if it's not directly in front of you, then you basically just want to get in front of it as fast as possible, because it's not going to turn around and shoot you or anything. Then once you're in front of it, you're good to go and you can just move on. So that's basically the strategy you want to adopt for this level. And I strongly recommend avoiding those Brawl Stars logo things that are floating. They change what your gun fires, and honestly the standard gun is the best by far, because you have infinite ammo with it and you can just shoot as fast as you want. With all the other ones, you have limited reload speed, so it's going to be a lot harder to just output a ton of damage quickly. So I strongly recommend just avoiding those as well, as if they're also asteroids, because that's going to make it a lot easier to take down ships. And you also want to make sure you don't touch those black holes, because they will make you instantly lose. So that is another thing you want to avoid if you have not played this before. But then towards the end of the level, you'll actually encounter a black hole that doesn't shoot out any robots. So once you get through about 3 or 4 waves of these robots, you'll see that black hole, and if it doesn't shoot out robots in the first couple seconds, then you just want to shoot it a couple times, and that'll make some light come out of it, and then you can finally enter that hole, and that's going to take you to the next level. Now next up, after a little Japanese intro scene there, we've got Slugfest, but in Japanese. This was actually one of the original names for Brawl Stars before they originally released it, and so it's sort of a play on words here, because now you're fighting the brawlers, but they're in slug form. So this level is actually probably the easiest out of the 3, so I'm going to fast forward it. But basically, for the first section, where it's just the Rosa slugs coming at you, literally just stay in one lane and shoot them whenever they come at you. There's no need to shoot the other ones. It won't give you any advantage or be any disadvantage to you if you don't kill them. So literally just stay in one lane and shoot them. It's super easy. Once the barley slugs come, they will aim at you, so you're gonna have to switch lanes when that does come, but there's only 1 or 2 of them, so it should be pretty easy to take them out quickly. But you do want to make sure you take out those barley slugs and later on the cold slugs, because they will just stay at the end of the lane and build up over time. So you want to make sure you get rid of them as soon as possible, and you might have to switch lanes once or twice to do so, but it's not too bad at all. And then eventually the bombs start raining down from the sky, so you do want to keep an eye on where your feet are located once in a while and see if there's a target underneath it, and then switch lanes accordingly. And once again, just focus on taking out the colt slugs and the barley slugs, and then you should be doing fine. You are going to take a bit of damage. Sometimes they just come in an impossible formation where you literally just have to take damage and there's no way out of it, but you have a huge amount of health, so it really shouldn't be a big deal if you take a bit of damage. And the 3rd level is just going to have the most enemies, but it's still fairly easy in my opinion. You just got to keep doing what you did in the previous levels, and by the time you get to the end, you'll have a little speech bubble, and in that time you actually want to hit the up button that you use to switch lanes, so that way you essentially jump off the top lane, and you can only do it after you've finished killing all 3 waves of enemies, and that's going to take you to the 3rd level rather than just waiting through the dialogue and all of that. So after a bit more background and storyline, you get to the final level, which is the Starrcade Breakdown. So this is an auto-scrolling platform game. It gets a bit janky because the gravity is so insane. You can jump super high, but you also fall down really, really quickly. So it's kind of hard to give tips for this, since I feel like you really just have to get used to the physics mechanics in this for a while, but I will give you what I believe to be the optimal path through this specific part of the minigame, so that way it gives you the highest chances of actually making it through. So right at the start, you can basically do anything. It's pretty easy to shoot through these first couple enemies, but in general, I think you do want to avoid the running enemies because they can be really annoying and bounce you back into lava whenever you hit them. So this first section is fairly easy. I am getting all the coins here. You don't necessarily have to. They don't really give you anything, and it's just a good idea to get them to sort of just practice your jumping. And like I said, if there's any small platforms with brawlers on them, you can pretty much avoid them. There's no reason to put yourself in danger there. And here with all the surges, you want to jump up right when that surge shoots his bullets. That way you get the maximum possible time to attack him. And then in this particular section, I think it is a good idea to go up on the Gale's platform because he is slow, so it's easier to take him out. The other faster brawlers can sometimes be a bit annoying, and if you get a bad cycle, they can knock you back when you're not expecting it. So then here is the key part. You want to make sure you go up to the top here and stay behind that arcade machine. The bottom jump is extremely hard to pull off. I never recommend that you go for that jump because it's ridiculously hard and you will die most of the time if you try to go for it. You have to be very, very perfect. So then I would fall down and not go for the middle platform with the Gale. It's just harder to stay on that platform. And in general, I recommend staying low down towards the beginning because if you make a weird jump and don't jump off the platform properly, you may just fall straight into the lava. But towards the end, it is better to sort of stay on the platforms in general because there are a lot of brawlers down on the bottom and they can easily knock you back and push you into lava if you're not careful. So then we're getting towards the end here. There's no reason to go up and attack that surge, and then you can just jump up to the top here and get the Brock. Basically just want to avoid the surges. They're the most annoying. And then finally at the end, you just want to double jump right before the door that you would typically go through, and then you keep spamming the jump button to make sure you can fully jump over that wall, and then you finally get into the storage room. And this is where you're going to fight the boss, technically, even though it's a very low pressure boss. So basically it's just an evil 8-bit or whatever, and he mirrors all of your moves. So you want to actually shoot the plug behind him, and that's what's going to win, because if you shoot him, you essentially shoot yourself and you're going to lose health. And that is basically the end of the game. We get the final cutscene with him walking out of this storage room, which is actually, I think, a part of the siege map that we get because it looks kind of like a warehouse. So this actually sort of ties into the whole Brawl Stars world thing. There's a lot of cool stuff in this game to unpack, so I strongly recommend you play through it for yourself. Hopefully these tips will help you get through it faster than just watching a video with no commentary. So I hope I was able to help you in that way. If I did, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to join the Send Squad. But that's all for today, guys. So see you later.